Buckle up, it's the Insurance Dudes Podcast.
Have you ever had an agent approach you with leads and asked to do some sort of partnership with those leads?
Often.
Really?
Yeah. And they never pan out, but what I'll do, I'll split the leads with them, because what I'm looking for is when they get their honest referrals, right? The people they're in their sphere of influence, the good quality leads, that's what I'm looking for. If it takes me to, split a $1,000 bill or a $2,000 bill each month, if that's what because I'm like, those leads, that's fine. If we set it up, I can put them in my CRM, right? I can do all those things for your leads, but like, I'm not banking on those leads coming to fruition and paying my bills. I'm banking that, me and you, right? Like you get, like, I'm helping you out. So I'm hoping that you're going to give me the good stuff that comes in.
Yeah.
And
it seems like things are moving more towards, I'm just going to shoot you a whole bunch of leads and then that's it. Like not the actual handoff. Like, hey, I have Sam here. He needs some help.
Correct. And that's part of the BS as a loan originator that we have to decipher. Like when we're meeting agents out there, not all of them come to the table with good intentions. Some of them come to the table with just, which lender can write me the fattest check? And like, dude, that's not me. Like, look, I don't have a problem spending money at all. But there has to be some sort of relationship between us. And I tell agents this a lot. Like, I'm okay with being number two. I'm the old O.J. Simpson Hertz commercial dude, right? I get that. There's nothing wrong with being number two, because number one can only be number one for so long, because they're going to retire, they're going to screw up, they're going to move, they're going to leave the industry, right? So and as an agent, you should have at least two. Because, sometimes your personalities with the prospective buyer and the lender just don't gel. You're like, dude, I can't send this one to Eric because, or whatever, right? I need to send this one to Johnny, right? You should have at least two lenders, at least two in your back pocket. And then the big ones, the big teams, the teams that are generating, 40 or 50 closings a month, they should have a multitude of lenders. Because here's the thing that I've learned is that if you think that you're able to handle the whole shebang from a big team, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you think that you can handle 9 leads from a particular real estate brokerage on a Friday afternoon at 3 p.m., you're going to drop the ball. You're going to drop that ball. It's inevitable. So, and I wouldn't want that pressure. I would not want 8 leads landing on my desk at 3 p.m. on a Friday, right? It's insane. So they should incorporate several different lenders with, the bigger they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also interesting because the fuse on deals is a lot different than it is for the buyer or for the client, that for you guys, than it is for us. Like for us, nobody's in a hurry to get insurance. And in fact, they don't want to get a quote either. Like they're very disinterested in what we have to talk about. And for you have the money, right? So it's like they need it yesterday. The house, somebody else is trying to buy the house. So it's always this hair's on fire thing.
You're right.
So it's,
Yep.
Talk about dealing with that and how those two worlds collide.
Well, I always put a time frame. Like when I'm communicating with my borrowers, I always, ask them I tell them what is needed. And I always, learned this in sales a long time ago. I always say, can you have this to me? And I usually put 48 hours, because the quicker you can get it to me, the quicker, right, I can get you through the gauntlet, et cetera, et cetera. But I never leave it open-ended. Like, can you get that insurance quote from your agent for me in 48 hours? Can you do that? And I love it when they say, well, agent, I got Geico. And they call this, and I'm like, well, if you need an agent, I can help you. Sometimes you go through Geico, we're dealing with this crap for 5 days because it's some call center in India.
Yeah. So yeah, and the so you talk a little bit about the 8, 9 on a Friday is too many. What is a good lead flow for lenders? Like on a monthly basis? Like what?
If you could get a couple a day, that's great. But realistically speaking, like the majority of my real estate agents that I've been dealing with for 10, 12, 15 years, they probably close 12 to 15 million a year, right? They're not at the low end and they certainly at the high end. They're right there. They're medium producing agents. And that kind of is where my bread and butter is. That's where I get the majority of my referrals from. So out of that, I'll probably get 5 to 6 referrals per year from each one of those agents.
Nice.
Yep.
What could you see what has an insurance agent done for you that has gone kind of above and beyond your expectations to be a part of, your world and your realtor's world and made you want to take them in to your clique?
Honestly, when it's made super easy for me to get the agent's information in front of them, and the more personable, the better. So flyers, PDFs, right? Things of that nature, rather than saying, hey, Johnny with, ABC Insurance is going to call you, right? Instead of that, if I can put on an email an attachment of Craig and, an advertisement, and he's got his picture on it, it becomes personable now, right? It becomes personable. And that's the best tool for me that's the best one for me.
So I called Eric a long time ago and said, hey, it was when I was at the office a little bit more and said, hey, we're in the same area, blah, 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 did the whole schmooze. And he said, I need you to fax me a flyer. Like he wanted, and I was like, huh? and he said, nobody else ever said that. And he just stuck out, and so, we've exchanged some stuff over the years, and it's pretty cool though, because I think that's his gatekeeper, or how he keeps people out of the house is just fax me a flyer and I'll take a look. That's his initial response. And then, some people, I bet most people do not fax a flyer over, and then that's it. Away they go. But we did fax a flyer over.
Yeah.
We had to make one because we didn't have a flyer, but
I was just going to say,
let's make a flyer. Hurry. We got to get it to Eric.
If anybody listening does not know what a flyer is, we used to make those back in the day on a Xerox machine, and you would actually remember cutting out images and stuff.
I don't think they know what any of the things you just said are. Cutting, Xerox, none of that.
What do I do with these?
That's awesome. So for a new loan officer jumping into the fray, or a new insurance person that wants to connect with a loan officer, what words of wisdom would you have for them?
What do you mean?
What's the
advice.
One piece of advice you'd give to somebody trying to get into that world right now?
Oh, into the industry as a loan originator?
Yeah.
Man, good luck. I mean, and God bless. I mean, and to be very honest with you, like when I took the test, I remember this, from back in 1999 when I took the class, and the instructor saying, 80% of you in this classroom will not be in this industry 6 months from now. And it's true. I mean, and I look at today, and I see some of my colleagues that have been in the industry as long as I have, or close to it, and I see how many shops that they hop around to, right? They always think the grass is greener. I mean, and the amount of movement, it surprises me. But, for somebody that's truly thinking about it, you got two directions. You got two directions that you can go. One is you go into the banking side of it, the big banks, the FDIC, Chases, Wells Fargos of the world. And you can have your leads spoon-fed to you, and you can work 8 to 5 with your 2 20-minute smoke breaks, get your 3 weeks vacation, and top out at $54,000 a year, right? You can do that. Good for you, right? But that's it. That's where you're stuck.
That's
and
it.
The longer that you're there, and I call it the corporate heroin, the longer that you are there, the more reliant you become on their corporate heroin, and it makes you complacent that you will not go out and get your own SOI, your own network, right? The other side of the coin is then, working for a lender, and getting your own sphere of influence. And the biggest thing I can tell you is to not look for the lender who's going to give me leads. Oh, I need leads. Stop it. Stop it. That's the corporate heroin. Stay off of the heroin. It's not good. You want to create your own network. Well, how do I do that? Well, old school 101 still works to this day. One of the best ways to drive in some business early on in a career and to generate your own sphere of influence is doing open houses. Do they suck? Absolutely they suck. Because you're going to take every Saturday and Sunday, you're going to take it away from your family or whatever, and you're going to have to go do open houses. They're not fun. But what I can tell you is they will drum up business. You will get deals from them. You will pick up real estate agents. And some of those agents might be newer coming into the industry because they're trying, right? They're trying to get drum up business. So they're doing the open houses. So they likely don't have a lender already. So I tell LOs this all the time, you've got to go do open houses. Well, I went out this Saturday and Sunday and only 2 people came through. Well, you got to do this for the next year. Every Saturday and Sunday, you've got to be hitting those open houses. I did that for the first 3 years that I got in the industry. Open houses, and it worked. And if I ever got to a point where business was slow and I needed to, garner more of a network, I'd go back. I would go back to open houses. They work.
What was sorry, go ahead.
If you only get 2 contacts a weekend, you do it for 1 year. I mean, that's 104 contacts. That's somewhere that you can really, you can do something with that, right? So, but it takes a year.
That's a network. There you go.
Yeah, that's.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the difference is when you're a loan originator that has your own sphere of influence, your own network, your own agents, you're making 100 to 150 basis points per transaction. When you're not, and the guy sitting at the top is handing you the leads, you're making what? 22 basis points a transaction, 25, right? Something pretty minuscule. And that's a lot of work to get paid so little. And you'll always end up being stuck on that, less than $60,000 a year in income.
Wow.
It's a 90-10 rule. I mean, most loan originators, it's like real estate agents. Most real estate agents make less than $60,000 a year. It's 90-10, right? 90% of them make that and 10% make $250,000 or over. It's the same concept in lending.
Yeah. And I bet there's a big correlation between consistency and getting the actual results. Sticking to it and doing the things. Like you've made it because you did 3 years, you did 150 weekends.
Yep.
I mean, that's what nailed it.
Yeah. And always wanting to meet real estate agents. COVID's really put a damper on this. Some people, you got these Zoom meetings and Zoom happy hour, blah, blah, blah. It's not the same because if I'm going to go out to coffee with you, we're going to talk for the next 2 hours. And we're going to talk about our kids and we're going to laugh. It's a different conversation, right? When we're sitting there for 2 hours at a Starbucks and we become intimately involved with, in a work sense, but we know each other. And in those hour or 2 hours, we know if we're gelling or not. I know at the end of that coffee meeting, if we're ever going to do business together or not. I know, so for me, that's priceless. Those meetings and, it's like some of the get-togethers with the real producers, those events and meeting those agents and establishing those relationships. And one of the things that I've learned through the years is that sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years of professional courting an agent for them to be able to give you a shot.
Wow.
And it is what it is.
I love the correlation between real estate agents, insurance agents, and the mortgage industry, because we're all very similar. And there's this thing that's happening on both sides where it's like, yes, there's the race car drivers that is the new thing, right? Throw everything against the wall. And you got to have kind of a little bit of that. But if you're just doing that, you're missing this giant piece of the relationship building. And I think you almost need both. It's like two skill sets now, and there's 2 different things going on, but without one of them, it's going to be tough.
Especially starting out. Especially starting out. Screwed starting out. But you need capital to be the race car driver too. Like you can't come in with no money, because that's expensive to run a teleteam and create a funnel and do all that, So it's interesting.
It's crazy too, because you see all these SaaS startups, all these software startups, right? And it has a pop-up window. And you try to find a number to talk to someone. You can never find someone to talk to. Worst customer service ever. It could be the coolest product. Yep. But like, if you can't talk to somebody, it's like, that's it. I'm done with these people.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know what I mean? It's there's this hybrid of what's going on now where it's like, yeah, you can have the cool car, but you got to be able to have the relationship side too, because one without the other is it's hard to keep up. It's hard for somebody that's just doing relationship building especially in the world that we're living in now, to just rely upon that. Like, you got to try to drive the race car at the same time, because if you have those skills, you put them together, it's like magic.
Yep. And consumers and real estate agents pick up on that. They pick up on it pretty quick. They know how much you don't know pretty quick. Like if you're just a salesman and every tough question that comes up, you got to go ask your branch manager or somebody, right? They pick up on that quick. So it's like, you have to be more than just a salesman. Now, look, if you're okay with making $60,000 a year for the rest of your life, then okay. That, and some people maybe. Some people could be totally fine with that.
Yeah. So tell us, Eric, I know you have your own show, right?
I do. Yeah. Friday Coffee with your mortgage man, Eric, every other week. Yep.
Love it. And where do we find that?
Facebook, on my business page, and then my YouTube channel.
Cool.
Awesome.
And when did you start, since you been doing this for a while, when did you start dabbling into this? And how has it helped your business?
The video part?
Just all the new stuff. Yeah.
So,
the video.
So I'm about 2 years in on the video. And what I've realized about it, it's consistency is what matters. Like, sometimes, content matters as well, right? But it's the consistency that is number one. People are expecting that, or, wondering where where was your latest video? Why you didn't do anything last Friday, right? Consistency is number one. And having character. I mean, dude, this has character. Your podcast has character. You have to bring it. Some of my best responses I get, like when I decide to do something out by the pool. They're like, man, I love you did something out by the pool. That was pretty cool. I'm like, wow, okay. It's such positive response because it was a pool in the background, right?
Right.
But the consistency, character, and don't be so stuffy, right? And again, with the character, go off lib, just wing it occasionally and whatever. I mean, sometimes I just do it on the first take. I don't, you know what I mean? I just go with it. And if I mess up, I make fun of myself, and it's pretty organic. And, I know that I could probably sharpen it up. I know that I could probably take this video thing that I'm doing and take it to a next level. The problem is how freaking busy I am. I mean, by the time I'm done doing my video, I've got 5, voicemails, 43 emails. Like I don't got like what. I don't got time to edit and put the wording in and the special. I would love for that to happen, right? But shit.
Love it.
I'm blessed to be that busy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. So, and so is it? What's the title of it? Is it Eric Kinneman? Can they just
no? It's
Google that?
Friday Coffee with your mortgage man, Eric.
Love it.
Okay. And if they type in Kinneman, it's Kinneman.
You got it. Yes, sir.
Type that in on the Facebook and
it's
on the books of the faces, and it'll come up. Actually, it'll probably just pop up in your feed because you're talking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what happens. Yesterday,
watching you.
I thought about something. It was on YouTube, and it was something odd.
Retargeting. Retargeting. It's crazy where it's gone, right? And they're automatically uploaded to my website. So I have it synced with YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I upload YouTube, it uploads to my website as well.
Nice. Cool. Well, that is excellent. Thank you for stopping by. It has been a pleasure to have you on here, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thanks so much, Eric. Good meeting you.
Thanks.
Nice to see you, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to write 100,000 in premium off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes, it's a weekly call that we're doing right now. It's live, and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now, live.teledudes.com.
Live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice.
Craig, are you going to respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. Live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
All right.